5 champion Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another presentation of the National Sim Racing League Association ARCA Series here on VSPEED. This time for the Downtown Auto Sales 100 at North Wilkesboro Speedway. I'm not the only one in the booth tonight. Alongside me, Logan Sanathrelkel makes his return to the lead commentator position. I am your producer and color commentator, Morgan Cook, and you are watching VSPEED as always. How we doing tonight, Logan?
Doing fantastic, Morgan. Coming fresh off of an open-wheeled race with you earlier in the day. Ready to get back to our roots here. Some short track racing with the new ARCA cars. Looking forward to it. The practice session was quite intense. And, qualifying looking pretty intense as well. Some pretty fast lap times being set down out there. But North Wilkesboro opened up May 18th, 1947. Wilkesboro County, North Carolina, just 0.62 miles around this small oval track. Very flat as well, only 13 degrees of banking in the corners. So tires are going to be at a premium tonight. We only have 130 laps on the board. 5 sets of tires available, however, so that will certainly help. And Morgan, we're hearing from some of the drivers a little bit over the halfway mark on the fuel run.
Absolutely. Fuel and tires are going to be very important here tonight. And you talk about roots. This is the roots, some of the roots of NASCAR right here, North Wilkesboro. One of the most famous racetracks that they have on the circuit. Technically, obviously, it's the All-Star race, whatever you want to call it. But this place, Richard Petty was dominant here. Jeff Gordon, I believe, won the last race here. This is a place where legends are made. Let's have a look at the point standings, see who's going to be legendary here tonight. Dustin Lewis has been so far this year, leading the points after 3 weeks. Cartledge, Cochran, Espy, and Green remain your top 5, though I imagine we'll have a shakeup in the points after tonight.
Yeah, we certainly will see that. Montgomery, Collymore, Pollock, Warup, and Mazzell make up the back half of your top 10. See all those drivers there on the right side of the screen. They're looking to make their way up to that top 10 in points. We still have a whole lot of season left for them to make those moves. It's going to be tough here tonight. It is a hot track surface. It is going to be very slippery out there. 105 degrees on the racetrack right now, a little bit down from what we saw in the practice sessions. So that will certainly speed these cars up at some point. But we are ready to get going through the grid, taking home the pole on the night here at North Wilkesboro. It's that 88 of Toby Ritters with a 19.014. Mark Cofield in the 97, not far behind. He'll start on the outside of row 1. Row 2, Jacob Cochran in the number 8 next to the 48 of Peyton Bass. Row 3 will be the 90 of Brandon Wallace in the 61 of Zechariah Cartledge. Behind them, we've got the 7 of Justin Harris next to the 60 of Gavin Henson, taking up the 8th starting spot. Last but not least, in the top 10, Casey Bristow in the 98, next to the 01 of Daniel Sila.
Starting in 11th tonight will be Christopher Hodges in the 81 machine. Jeremiah Holt alongside in 12th. The next row, Aaron Hespy and Rayshawn Winkfield, 13th and 14th. 15th tonight will be Brandon Vees in the 65. Matthew Montgomery will start 16th. 17th belongs to Alec Pollock in the 92. Sean Morobe in the 20 starts 18th. And the top 20 belongs to Dustin Lewis, the points leader, and Caleb Jones.
The field limited to just 28 drivers tonight. It'll start in 21st as the 15th of Jared Green next to the 45 of Jordan Bridges. 23rd belongs to Sam Lavery in the 91 next to the 30 of Donnie Bass. 25th will be Benji Richards in the 83 next to the 09 of Jeffrey Bourne. And last but not least, the back row of our field tonight, just barely making the cut here. It's Stephen Gill in the 03 starting in 27th, and the 14 of Gregory Vadnais starting in 28th.
The drivers to miss the show tonight will be Kevin Satori by under a tenth of a second. Jameel Gills in the same boat. Gino Volanti, who is in the top 20 in points, probably won't be after this one. Sam Bridges also failed to make the race. One more driver, Michael Privat, didn't make the show either. Race Control, obviously, is Race Control tonight. They will not be partaking in the event. So now let's get
28 cars, Morgan. This is going to be rowdy out here. 0.6 miles around at North Wilkesboro. There's not a lot of room for air.
absolutely
And 130 laps on the board. Go
Look
ahead.
at race analysis here. 130 laps tonight. Forces the tires available. I don't know if you use all of them, but you very well may. Okay, we're not going green this time. I really thought that we were. 68 to 73 laps on fuel, meaning you can get just over halfway on a tank. Probably split this thing in half if it goes green, and that'll be good enough. But we've seen cautions happen in the series before. 2 green-white checkers if required, and this is going to be a fun one. I have a feeling.
Short track racing, you know, this is what the ARCA car is made for, Morgan. This is where it is supposed to be most dominant in the iRacing or even real life series. These short tracks are king. You know, I don't blame you last time. The pace car lights were on, but we're going to bring it down this time by Toby Ritters, the 88. Keep an eye on the inside line. Green flag is out for the first time tonight, and we're spinning through the field already. Toby Ritters was able to keep the tires underneath, and he gets a big jump on lap 1, 0.3 of a second over Mark Cofield. Cofield are trying to hold off on that inside line. Jacob Cochran trying to make a move, but it settles out still 2 by 2 through the middle portion of this field. And there's Peyton Bass looking around the outside of Cochran. The 61 of Zechariah Cartledge looking to make a move as soon as one of these drivers make any slight mistake.
Absolutely, and mistakes are going to happen tonight. It's such a difficult racetrack. We talked about it a little bit in the intro. 2 different angles that these straightaways have. One goes uphill, one goes downhill. Nowhere else will you find a racetrack, an oval at least, like that plays very difficult on the exit of these corners.
That it does. You can kind of notice that that downhill portion is diving into turn 1. Then as you're coming out of turn 2, you mentioned it pre-race that, you know, you kind of have to come uphill.
Oh, there's the caution.
Contact. The 7 gets spun around. The 01 gets backed up. The 98 gets sideways right in front of pit road.
Now we saw that one live. We're going to have to go back and have a look at it again. Looked like just a case of an accordion in the center of the field. So common on these short tracks. And of course, a couple drivers paying the price for that one.
Justin Harris is the one that kind of was at the front of all this. Small dive into turn 3. The 01 just comes up, hits him right on that left rear, stacks up with the 98. So we got a couple cars with a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be too big of an issue. Again, that's Justin Harris in the 7, Daniel Sila in the 01, and the 98 of Casey Bristow, I think, probably got the worst of that.
We're going to have another look here. This is from on the roof of the 01 of Silla. See, they're both trying to pass Gavin Hinson here. And I think that was just a case of probably just trying to squirt the throttle a little bit too early and fill that gap. And I just don't think he realized that they were going to diamond the corner in front of him, and he got the corner panel, got to the corner panel and around the 7 machine went.
That's exactly what it looked like, Morgan. It just, the door was open there for a split second, and it closed a little bit too quickly for the 01 to really get the nose in there and make that a safe attempt. But you know, that's short track racing. We're going to see that a lot tonight, especially once we get to the end of this race. A lot of risky dives are going to be made up in the top 5 if that competition is close enough.
Absolutely right on that. This is a racetrack in particular where the diamond line is the fast line, especially off of turn 2. You really want to kind of enter in the middle, slide up a little bit, then really chop the exit down beside the grass. If you enter beside the grass, you're probably going to get doored, or you're probably going to door somebody. Someone's going to spin. And that just makes this racetrack a little bit different from a place like Bristol or a place like Martinsville, where you really want to maintain your line, whether it's the bottom or the top. You don't really want to be diamonding corners all that much. This racetrack, you have to be efficient.
It's really going to be about finding the rhythm, finding the groove that's going to work best for you. And as we are doubled up, the pace car lights come back on. It looks like a little bit of an issue towards the middle or the back of the field, trying to get lined up here. See quite a few cars out of place at the moment.
I think part of this issue was there's a few drivers who had to come down pit road to avoid the accident. I think they were trying to get their spots back. One of those, Matthew Montgomery in the 9 and Aaron Espy in the 3. They had to come down pit road to avoid that accident. The 01, I think, is getting the EOL right now because I think he was the cause of that accident. Definitely some interesting lineups happening here, just trying to figure out who goes where.
Trying to get it all sorted out. Obviously, you know, you come down pit road to avoid the caution. You've got 2 potential issues at hand. You've got a speeding penalty to deal with in most cases. And then if that caution flag comes out before you cross that line, you've got the entering of the closed pits. So trying to get it sorted out as to where they were in the field can be kind of difficult. Big props to our race controllers tonight, the Moyer brothers, taking over. You know, it's difficult at these short tracks to get it right.
Yeah, and they will take EOLs, it looks like, because they would have got a black flag, I am assuming, for entering a closed pit. Like you said, they did hit pit road, of course, while the caution was coming out to avoid the spinning 98. They are now at the back of the field. Early in this race, only 10 laps in, plenty of time to get back through the field if you have the speed to do so.
Pace car will come off this time. Ritter's still in control of our second start of the race. The inside line doesn't quite get the jump this time that he had the last start, but it's going to go 3 wide here, a couple rows behind him. That's a big battle just inside the top 10. Sorts itself out before turn 3, but the 23, Rayshawn Wingfield, looking to make up some ground using that high line, but kind of ends up hurting himself a little bit. But you can see all the speed he can carry. Contact from the inside. Brandon Wallace, I believe that is the outside line there. 60 on the inside. Gavin Henson.
You got to be really careful in this situation. You want to defend. Oh, we got 3 wide behind them. You want to defend the best that you can. Oh, Pollock. Oh, no. Oh, Bridges in it as well. The 14's in it. Oh, man, that was a big hit for the 14. Gregory Vadney is the last driver to make the field here tonight. Like I was saying, I didn't get to finish before they would listen to me. But you got to be patient in these situations. You want to defend the best you can, but bad things happen when you aren't patient here.
Yeah, You can see that early in the races. You know, the racing, it kind of starts with the 65 getting a little loose there. That forced the 92 to make a mid-corner adjustment on the line, trying to avoid it.
This is the lap before.
This will be a much better view to really break down what happens.
But I think you're right, Logan. I think the 65 gets loose. The 92 tries to avoid it, and then 02 has no idea what's happening in front of him. You can see way too much rear brake on that 65. And the 02 just not really realizing that they're 3 wide. 45 got hit in the back. I'm not sure what happened to the 14. It's right on board.
I think he was just shooting for the bottom to try to avoid Pollock spinning in the middle of the track, but obviously with the 45, Jordan Bridges there having issues himself off of turn 4. Kind of closed that door for Gregory Vadnais. But you get on board look here, you can kind of see everything develop ahead. Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah,
just
you're exactly
went for the window that closed too soon.
Yeah, and unfortunately there was no other opportunity. If he jerks it back to the right, he's going to spin anyway. So, tough break. Picked the wrong lane for the 14.
Try to spin it back up to the top, then one, you're, like you said, more than likely swinging the back end of the car around, or two, you're just going to go ahead and hit the 92 anyways. So
yeah. And
just nowhere to go for Vadnais.
And if you spin, laps are so short, you're probably going to go a lap down, which is the worst thing that could happen at this stage of the race. So, yeah, definitely unfortunate for those guys, Pollock, Vadnais, and the rest of the drivers involved in the accident so far in the race here.
Vadnais will be the only driver to go a lap down. Pollock was able to get it down pit lane, get a little bit of damage repaired there, brought it back out in front of the field. Vadnais will be 2 laps down, but he will be the only driver a lap down. So as long as he keeps the nose clean, a couple of cautions that could precede this, he will be back on the lead lap most likely.
Yeah, right about that.
By
Stephen Gill with the black flag.
Yeah, don't know what's going on with the 03.
Interesting. I would think it's too early for a 17x incident limit to come into effect, but we'll see.
Green flag back out. Ritter's in control once again. A much better jump than last time. Jacob Gottran on the outside line. Couldn't quite keep up. A lot of wheel spin there from the top line. Side by side, 3 rows deep here, even further back through the field, still trying to get sorted out.
Oh, we got a spinner.
Oh, the 90 sideways. Brandon Wallace gets spun around here in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, hard to miss with that bright yellow on the side of that car. Around goes the Napa number 90.
It is difficult, though, going from any other series I've seen Brandon Wallace in as the 99 to
That's right.
the 90.
I feel that.
Here's a good look from the top down here. Wallace trying to utilize that top line. The 23, Rayshawn Wingfield just stuck the nose in. Got some contact there.
In all honesty, that's a baffling move from the 23. I don't know what you accomplished with that. You're not going to fit that car 3 wide in that situation. I don't know. I think it's way too early to try and split the middle 3 wide North Wilkesboro. Lap 20 of 130.
Very, very long race still at hand. So I'm with you on that. It's high risk, low reward, and the reward ended up being a punishment.
Yeah, I imagine he'll get the EOL here. I would have to think.
Gregory Vadnais will collect 1 lap out of 2 here. So 1 more caution to go for the 14 before he's back on the lead lap. I think he's got most of his damage repaired. Maybe a few seconds left, but I would say electing to stay in the pit lane and go 2 laps down is most likely, indication that he got all of it repaired. Here's your eye on the driver. Toby Ritter is our first place sitter right now in the 88 machine. Quite the rig he's got there, Morgan.
I see we didn't send him any stickers. We're going to have to work on that. He's got the GoPro at chest level. I didn't notice that last week. That is a pretty cool touch to be able to see exactly what's happening at chest level through the steering wheel and all that. So very cool rig he's got going on there. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
I like the screen blenders that he has there in the corner.
Yeah.
I've seen those online, and I've never seen them in person, so that looks pretty good there. They seem to do their job exactly as described.
Exactly as described is right.
Back on track, pace car lights are off. Once again, we're gonna restack it, send them on down into turn 1. Ritter's still in control on the bottom line. Green flag out. And a big shove from the bottom. Ritter's not able to get the jump. Cochran holds on. They've got space between, but it's door to door through 1 and 2, 3 wide behind. It's the 15 up on the top line. That's Jared Green trying to make something happen, and he does. Clears them both before turns 3 and 4. But struggles on that top line, trying to make the exit count.
You can make the top work in 1 and 2. It's hard in 3 and 4. He found out right there. Oh, he's going to get turned for his effort. Big wiggle into the fence. Big wall contact for the 15.
Extra help there, too, on the second touch. We're going to stay green there.
As the leaders are duking it out, Ritter's under fire. Cofield's caught up. Oh, he's sideways off the corner. Holy cow. John Rowe went around. He's in pit road.
Ritter's got a good move on the bottom, 3 and 4 on Cochran, and Cofield tried to follow, nearly got there, but now he's battling behind for third place with Zechariah Cartledge, and that's going to be door to door all the way around.
Oh, we got
track.
a spinner. Peyton Bass.
Looks like Peyton Bass on the 48.
The Georgia car goes for a slide.
Not quite sure. I think he was up here in the top 10. Just
It was
back
5th.
half around P8. Was he 5th? Okay.
P5, yeah. Right behind that 2-wide battle with Cartledge and Cofield, just loose on his own. Good job to slide and save it. Just came to a stop on the racetrack and triggered that caution, which will happen every single time.
Again, you know, that's not something that you see too commonly here at these short tracks. Saving it off the inside wall, loose off the corner, it's a tough one to do. A very narrow track. Yes, you can get 4 wide here. It's dangerous, but you know, it's not easy to keep it off that pit wall.
I'm not sure most drivers can do a 4-wide pace lap here, let alone 4 wide under green. This place is tough, especially what you see right there is that center to exit of turn 2, where it goes from wanting to run kind of the middle to wanting to run the very bottom, and then working all the way out to the wall. Very easy to cross over yourself into somebody else's lane and cause an accident. We've seen a couple times already today.
You know, we kind of touched base on the weather to start this one out. If you recall, it was 105 degrees, Morgan, on the track surface. We've already jumped up 11 degrees on the asphalt. It is 116 degrees right now, and it is eating these tires alive, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to rare steak temperature here with that 116. We're a couple degrees away from that, but definitely hot on the racetrack and absolutely fry an egg out there. I might be a little bit hungry up here in the VSPEED booth, but we're getting it done nonetheless. It's hot out here. You're right, Logan.
That's more than the second time I've heard a food reference come out of you today, Morgan. The last name might be Cook, but it doesn't mean that's what you have to think about all the time.
Well, do what you're familiar with, right, Logan?
Yeah, might as well. Stick to it at least. And right now, we're going to stick to the same front row that we've had for the last couple of restarts. Cochran will be on the outside once more. Toby Ritter still in control on the bottom. Even behind, it's still Mark Cofield, Zechariah Cartledge lined up in row 2. Behind them, and pace lights are going to come back on. Issue somewhere in the field there.
Yeah, part of the issue at this racetrack is such short pace laps. Like, we're only running 40-second pace laps. It's very difficult as an admin to be able to get things sorted out and drivers be able to get in position and all that stuff. So I understand taking an extra lap here and there to be able to make sure everything is sorted out properly. So props to the admins for not letting this thing fly under green and then realizing, uh-oh, I made a mistake, and having to stop the action in kind of a weird spot. So no issues there. But let's have a look, Logan. Look how the cream is rising to the top here. We got Ritters, Cochran, who's been fast all season. Cofield was a winner last week. Cartledge was fast last week. Hinson was fast last week. We got a lot of fast drivers up the front of the field here.
And and they're starting to sort their way up through, filter it out. Green flag out once again. In a big, big launch from Toby Ritters. This time, he's going to get about 2 car lengths clear as we're going to have the 23 of Rayshawn Wingfield a little loose on the entry there on that static camera. And it is Zechariah Cartledge with the move to the inside on Cochran. Cofield's going to be behind to help push off of the corner. That 61 will get clear down into turn 1. Cofield's turn to attack now on Cochran.
Absolutely. Oh, we got the grass from the 61. That is not going to help the exit of that machine. Back side by side is Cochran. Oh, Cofield, don't do that. We already saw a caution come out of that 3-wide maneuver. He thinks better of it. Instant to the inside, and everyone is sliding off the corner.
Getting very loose on corner exit out here, and the battle is still on for second place. Cartledge gets loose again and loses it to Cochran for now.
We got a driver in the grass here, Donnie Bass, making a little off-track excursion.
I heard that, yeah. 30 down in the grass of turns 1 and 2 as the leaders are going to work their way around. Have to keep an eye on the bottom of the track where he re-entered. Or a little debris there on the bottom. Seemed to be pretty well cleared up, but here we go with the 0-2. Caleb Jones on the outside of Justin Harris. This battle is on for the 7th place position. Harris with the advantage across the line there.
The 0-2 is the fastest car in practice. There's definitely a lot of speed in that 0-2. We haven't really seen that this year. He's really struggled on the bigger racetracks in Daytona, Charlotte, and Kentucky. We'll see if he can find some speed here tonight at North Wilkesboro, a much shorter track by comparison.
It's interesting whenever you throw together a melting pot of a league, you get a lot of drivers who shine at the short tracks, but you might struggle a little bit at the intermediates and the super speedways. As Cofield makes a move to the inside now, the 61 of Cartledge left out high and dry through 3 and 4. He will stay right on the back bumper and look to make a move to the inside himself in 1 and 2. Has to back it down quite a bit more. A little bit of a touch there from Gavin Henson, but it does not help out Cartledge on that exit at all.
Remember, Cartledge and Henson had issues last week. That was the driver that the 2 drivers that got together for the lead. Cartledge getting the worst out of that situation, so definitely no love lost there. And Cartledge trying to move Cofield up out of the way here. Really taking the short track temper things seriously. Oh, we're dooring him behind him. Oh, we're wrecking behind him. Gavin Henson's around. Oh, man.
Henson backed it into the wall hard, and as you can see here at North Wilkesboro, no safer barrier. That is straight up concrete. That is a big, big hit to the back end.
Absolutely.
Ooh, man. Almost collects another car there. I think that was the 30 of Donnie Bass that got just barely by.
Yeah, that's too bad for the 60 because he had nothing to do with this. This happened like 4 car lengths behind him, and they just didn't slow down for the corner. I mean, nothing Gavin Henson could do in that situation other than just ship it into the wall himself. So he made the right choice by just doing what he did, and unfortunately he got taken out because, let's go back another time in a replay. Jeremiah Holt and I believe Justin Harris is where this started. So up off the corner there. Go ahead, Logan.
That was a deep dive already into turn 1 for Holt. Yeah, it's another one of those situations. It's good, hard racing between those two, but just a little too hard for being in this early of a stage of this race.
And I don't think either of those guys are actually going to make the corner if Henson wasn't there. So, yeah, that's a tough break if you're the 60 machine. I mean, like I said 30 laps ago, it's early in this race, but we're getting to a point now where you can't really have these accidents and these incidents put you back in the field because we're running out of laps. We're already 42 into this thing, and we're closing in on halfway not too long from now, and it's going to be difficult from here to be able to make up track position.
Yeah, and you know, at some point we're still going to see the pit stop cycle come through.
True.
So there's still an opportunity for somebody to try to flip the script and maybe go for an undercut strategy. And, you know, that could really change things. If you've got somebody towards the back of the field or somebody who's been up at the front and now they find themselves at the back of the field for whatever reason, then they still have an opportunity to come out ahead.
Right. Hodges.
So there's still a lot of races left.
Hodges just pit for 4 tires, so he's the first one on these fresher tires, sitting at 19th right now. So we'll see what kind of ground he can make, and we'll see if those new tires are really going to be a big advantage. A lot of caution laps on the tires so far today, so we'll see what it looks like here at the end of this run.
Well, for restart number 5, it's still Ritter's in control on the bottom. Cochran still on the high line. Away we go. Ritter's with another good jump. Cochran holds on, but Mark Cofield gets a good run off the bottom as well. He's going to try to get to the inside of that 8 for second place here in turn number 3. And he does right there, door to door, almost to the back bumper.
Wakefield, 4 wide. How did they get through that?
A possibility.
What is happening? How did they get through that?
I can't say I've ever seen the
There he
full
goes.
line. He's across the nose. Wakefield down to the bottom, and that's going to end up putting the 09 into the wall. A little bit of extra assistance there, but I was just saying I've never seen the 4 wide get sent through on the exit of turn 4, but you know, Wakefield, he's been pretty aggressive all race already, so I'm not surprised to see that move come out of the 23.
Let's just go back and watch the entire restart again. Keep our eye locked at this 23 machine. So again, tries that 3 wide start. Yeah. We got some help. There's the 4 wide.
So it wasn't the 23's fault that we got 4 wide.
No, but
then he comes back around and, you know, obviously did not quite think that 98 was as high up on the track as he was. He kept it lower off the corner using that high line, just came across the nose there. So that'll be probably one of the more difficult ones to decipher for the race control crew to figure out who that one should be blamed on.
Absolutely big loser.
Briscoe starter, he's holding in 10th place right now.
Yeah, big loser out of that one was Christopher Hodges, who I just told you he took 4 fresh tires. What he's missing now is the tire nose of that car. Go right into the back of somebody on that accident. Of course, he is going to have some trouble with that machine for the rest of the race. Unfortunate for the 81 machine.
That's one thing we did forget to mention there. We did have 1 fast repair available for this race. Hodges has already used that fast repair. So now he will have to slowly but surely nurse that car back to full health as we continue on through cautions. So far, 6 of them tonight, only 2 lead changes. Ritters has controlled majority of this race. Jacob Cochran got by for just a couple laps there. He was maybe 3 or 4. Actually, just 1 for Cochran. So Toby Ritters has led every lap this race, aside from the one that we saw Cochran take control of.
Absolutely, and we got some heavy hitters up at the front still. Dustin Lewis, points leader, up to 6th now. Aaron Espy has found his way to the front as well. And the big winner out of that last caution was Benjamin Richards. Gained a lot of spots. He's now in the top 10.
Pace car is going to come off, an inside line and control again. Green flag in the air. A much better start for Cochran on the outside. He's got a chance to defend on Cofield here. He's going to look to take a pass around the outside. Toby Ritter's under fire for the first position. Cochran's got the advantage right now. He might get that second lead lap here if he can get a good run off of 4.
Looks like he will. He is going to lead that lap. Oh, Richards is into the inside wall. No caution at this point. We still have a battle for the lead.
Cochran gets out ahead just enough, but not enough to take that inside line away from Ritters. Ritters sends it in deep, and he's going to come off the corner pretty good here. Cochran will get back around for another lap led. But this battle up front is just letting Mark Cofield start to get a little bit closer. The 61 of Carthage entering the picture as well. Aaron Espy looking to take advantage. So we've got 5 cars now in this race for the lead. First time we've seen it tonight.
And I thought right there that Ritters lost the lead off of turn number 2. In fact, he was able to get it all the way back. We got drivers wobbling behind him here. Vadnais had a big moment out of the corner. A bunch of others as well, but this battle is not over. Cochran still under fire from Ritters on the bottom.
And keep in mind, these drivers have not yet pit, so they're still trying to navigate this track on 54-lap old tires. It's starting to get very slick out there with the track temperature being so high. Granted, we've had quite a few pace laps, but these tires still are starting to get burnt up as the 8 sends it up the track a little bit too much. Ritters gets a good line on the bottom, and back to the lead goes the 88.
Yeah, really interesting to see here as Rayshon Wingfield gets a black flag, I'm assuming for incident points at this point in the race. That'll definitely hurt his day. But what I'm surprised about is how dominant the bottom is. In turn, oh, we got Brandon V's with an issue. Oh, big hit for the 56.
Heard that one come over the race comms there. V's not happy with what happened. I'm almost thinking it might have been one of these drivers coming off of pit road, possibly.
Could be.
V's in the 65 on the top line, the 30 and the 81 battling in front. The 91 just ships him. Holy cow.
That's a tough one. I have no idea what Sam Lavery's trying to do there. He was absolutely not going to make that corner. Wow.
Possibly just missing the braking point for turn 4, but man, that was a big hit. Just shipped him right into the outside wall. No chance to save that one at all.
Yeah, he was still on the throttle when he got into the back of the 65. He wasn't even on the brakes yet. And that's tough. Like, he was still over 7,000 RPM at that point.
Didn't see anything leading up to that point for that to be any sort of retaliation. I think it was just simply, a missed braking point.
Yeah, I'd have to assume that's what it is, but man, that is a tough break for Jordan Bridges and Brandon V's, who were doing nothing wrong at that point to get caught, and they're both going to go a lap down here.
Well, the good thing is, pretty well the entire field has elected to bring it down pit road. Toby Ritters is going to cycle back out in the 8th position. Jacob Cochran will be right behind him in 9th. So we're going to see a little bit of a shakeup here as Matthew Montgomery will be in control of this restart. Alex Pollock, Sean Warrup, Gavin Henson, Jeremiah Holt, Rayshon Wingfield are all on alternative strategies here. So our top 6, there's a couple other drivers now pull down, so Toby Ritters and the rest of the field bump it up a couple spots. And here's a look at Alex Pollock in the 92, starting this one on the outside row.
Mr. Black Diamond designs himself. Gaining 15 positions so far in this race. Has been a bit of a tough trek to get to this spot. Of course, off strategy. We'll see if he's able to take a great finish out of the day here at North Wilkesboro.
Interestingly enough, looking at the stats here, Matthew Montgomery, the last time in pit road 18 laps ago, fuel only, Morgan. So Montgomery still might be on the original tires he started this race out with.
Yeah, definitely possible here. But fuel is what's going to limit you to the end. Tires, you can run on old tires. You can't run on no fuel.
Pace car off. Montgomery on the bottom. Gets a great launch. The 92 of Pollock struggles to get it up into the next gear. He's going to lose a position to the 20. Sean Warrow on the bottom. Got just enough ahead there. And luckily, it sorts itself out. That had potential to be a big one right at the start-finish line.
Not the first time we would have saw that this week with a bad restart, checking up the entire field. Luckily did not happen right there, but Pollock gonna lose a few spots out of that one.
He's gonna remain up in the top 3 at least. Jeremiah Holt got close to making that pass, but now he's under fire from Gavin Henson, looking to make the move on the outside. Who's also still trying to hold off Rayshon Wingfield there behind. That 23 is another yellow out on track. It's got to be further. Yeah, it's at the start-finish line. We've got a parking lot here on the front straight.
Yeah, Vadnais, Richardson. Oh, Hodges in another one. Both the VRX drivers involved in this one. Not a good day for the VRX team.
This starts with somebody loose off in turn 4, but I'm pretty sure I counted 5 or 6 cars entirely wrapped up in this one. A little bit more to break down. Starts with the 14 of Vadnais just getting loose on turn 4.
What on
Hodges,
earth?
yeah, the 15, the 65 got involved, 83. There's one more in there I missed as well.
Man, the one who that hurts for the most is Brandon V's. Just got tagged in the rear end, used the fast repair, and now his car is destroyed a second time.
That's pretty well the same thing that happened there to Hodges. Take another look at this one off the back end now of the 14. Just gets spun around.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at it from Christopher Hodges. Some DCs.
Offset line about a lane and a half up from where Vadnais was. Crosses him over, looks to the bottom through 3 and 4. Vadnais up in the middle line, but here's where that spin starts. Hodges trying to exit all the way up to the top of the track, expecting Vadnais to come down a little bit more, and just doesn't.
Yeah, while I appreciate the 14 trying to lock up the tires and not slide into the inside wall, if you're going to lock the tires up to try and avoid an accident, try not to do it in the racing line on the exit if you can. And of course, it's going to be difficult to do. So, I mean, just a tough break. I mean, he's doing his best to not destroy his race car, and unfortunately, he just couldn't save it out of the racing line, and took another 4 or 5 drivers to be included in that for the caution to come out. So, just yeah, it's a lot of unfortunate breaks here today for a lot of drivers. Not doing anything wrong, just kind of racing circumstances here at North Wilkesboro.
That's just, you know, it's one of the more iconic lines in NASCAR's recent history. That's just short track racing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You know, you're going to get that. There's not a whole lot of room. We mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's a very narrow track. There's not a lot of room for air. So whenever you have a car completely sideways in front of you, about 20 feet away, you know, there's really nothing that you can do. But at least this time, the pace car lights are off. We've got a new leader. Once again, Matthew Montgomery in control on the bottom, and a great jump on those older tires. He's going to get clear by quite a ways. Alex Pollock able to move up to that second position on the inside of Sean Portland. And it's on here, back at the back half of the top 10. This is where most of our leaders have cycled out to. So keep an eye on this pack as Toby Ritter tries to work his way up through the field. Rashad Wingfield just ahead of him there on the outside line. With the 73 of Jeremiah Holt just ahead of him too. It's tight back here, Morgan.
It absolutely is. There is not any room to breathe. You can't even really think about it. You just have to try and go where they're not, make the line the best you can, make the laps the best you can, but it's going to be difficult when you got 2x2 in front of you. You can't really go 3 wide here successfully. We've already seen that fail a number of times. You need to wait for these guys to single file out. You can't really force the issue here.
And if you're Toby Ritters right now, you've led the majority of the race. You're finding yourself in this heated battle in the middle of the pack. The only thought going through your head is to keep your race car clean. Right. Ritters has not had to use that fast repair yet, so he still has that in the back pocket, but the track position is going to be key for him. So right now, still holding down around that 7th position. He's under fire from Jacob Cochran on the outside.
Oh,
3 wide as the 61 sends it to the inside. Nearly contact there on the left rear of the 8. Holy cow, sorts itself out. Zechariah Cartledge tries to send it 3 wide again, bottom.
And those 3 are the 3 drivers leading this strategy. Oh, as Cofield's going for a big slide, he's going to save it. The back of your screen, my goodness. That was close, but it's Ritters, Cochran, and Cartledge who are trying to be the first driver through the field on the fresher tires, because we're not convinced the guys in front of them can make it to the end. Oh, there goes Holt, and there goes Waro. That's one way to get through.
Very loose on the bottom. That ended up being a 3 wide situation down the backstretch as well. Brandon Wallace finds himself on the top side of that. Back to just 2 for them, but man, this green flag run here, Morgan, it's shaping up to be a good one. A lot of hot battles here through the middle of the field.
Absolutely. We'll go up to the front for just a second here. Check out Alex Pollock chasing down Matthew Montgomery. A little further back, Wingfield and Cochran going at it. Remember, Cochran is now leading that group who is already pit and can make it to the end of the race. We're not convinced anyone else can make it to the end of the race from here. So very important for Cochran here to get clear of this traffic and drive away from Ritters. Oh, we got a driver spun around. That's Sam Lavery.
Sam Lavery in the 91 finds himself missing the front bumper. I just want to tack onto that last comment there. I believe Rayshon Wingfield might be on the verge of that fuel window, because he's only 3 laps older on his strategy versus Toby Ritter, Zechariah Cartledge, and the rest of the field.
He has no time in the pit box, though,
close.
so I don't know if he actually made a stop or if he just
Oh, that is
pit road.
true. That is
He's pit.
true.
Oh, that's
If you look
different.
at that.
Let's have a look here at 91. See what happened to him.
Lavery coming down through turns 3 and 4.
And just loose conditions.
Just loose off the bottom. Yeah, we've seen it time and time again already. That is a broken front left. Well, magically repaired front left, but the bumper stays on the ground.
Yeah, then it was the backwards right there. That's what triggered the caution, but not much you can do about that. Just loose off the corner. It'll happen. It's happened already. It's going to happen a bunch more. That is just North Wilkesboro at its finest.
It is, and this is, good opportunity here for some of these drivers to get some fresh tires. Jeremiah Holt, he finds himself back in the 14th position. Got about 10 lap older tires than the rest of the field in front of him. So good opportunity to see that 73 go for an alternate strategy here. Jeffrey Bourne kind of in the same position, back in the 17th position. You're not going to lose a whole lot of ground if you do that where they sit in the field right now.
Absolutely. And on top of that, I mean, if you don't pit here, I'm under the understanding you think you can make it to the end here. So I'm assuming if you're not pitting, you are saying we are good to go to the end. Let's do it. So I guess we're going to have to find out about that, if these guys are bluffing at the front of the field, Montgomery, Pollock, and Hinson, or if they think, hey, I actually have a shot at making it with all these cautions. So I'm curious to see.
That seems to be what they're kind of banking on here. We've already had 9 on the night. Chances are that we'll see some more, extending that fuel range just enough to get them to that checkered flag, and maybe they'll be at risk if we get under the green, white, checkered attempt. Only time will tell. The 9 on the inside once again. Pollock finds himself on the front row for this restart. Montgomery, a good jump once again from the bottom. Gets his way up to the top of the track to dive down into turn 1 as best as he can. Gavin Hinson and Jacob Cochran battling it out for that 3rd position. Cochran on that high line. Rayshon Wingfield closing that door once again.
I'm curious to see if the 8 has learned his lesson about using the high side in turns 3 and 4. It's a lot faster on this end if you can do it right, but it is much slower down in 3 and 4. We're going right now. Got Wingfield all over the back bumper. And not able to make that move. Hinson's going to take the spot away.
Looks like Wingfield's going to try to make a move here on the inside from Cochran as well. So trying to, he's going to get loose on the bottom there on the exit of 2. That allows Cochran to get the run, but he's keeping it close enough that the 8 cannot find his way down to that bottom line. So still going to be chewing up those tires quite a bit more and finding himself with the 23 right there on that driver's door.
Yeah, can't quite clear. Has a little bit of forward momentum, but not quite enough here. Oh, they're going to go around the slower 14 machine. Did not see that car coming. Stephen Gill has a black flag as well. That should clear Cochran. Down to the bottom now. Here comes Toby Ritters. He wants some of this.
Finally, Toby Ritter's able to enter the equation once again. We saw him in the front of the field for the majority of the race. After that pit cycle, he cycled back out to the 8th position, but it's been tough to find his way around. This track not easy to pass at, as he's going to dive it down into turn 1, sends Wingfield up the track just a little bit. Wingfield gets a better run off the corner, though. He is putting up a great fight defending with this outside line.
See what it looks like from the roof of Zechariah Cartledge. See, they are scrapping and clawing. Oh, Ritters tried a very deep entry into the corner. Couldn't quite do it. Cochran in the grass. Going to go for a bit of a slide.
Look, Cartledge might have been in the grass a little bit as well. And, an interesting thing here is the 3 of VSPEED gets to the inside of Cartledge. Didn't quite see that one. Kind of came out of nowhere there, the good wrench car.
Yeah, Cartledge tried that really tight, wrapping the bottom in turn 1. It didn't work. Got a bad exit and allowed Espy to get all the way to the inside of him down here in turn number 3. Can he clear off the corner? I don't think he can, but he's going to have a good shot at it here down in turn 1 again.
That's going to send Cartledge way up the track. This is a good opportunity, but he's going to still find a way to put the power down. Get the nose out ahead, but there's the pass. And now finally Cartledge has to try to get to the inside.
Oh, big slide behind him
as well.
Caleb Jones with a slide. Oh, there goes Wallace to the inside, going to get a shot from his buddy Jeremiah Holt. They were 3 wide for a moment. Holy cow. 40 laps to go.
This is some short track racing right here. The 01 finds himself under fire from the 90 of Brandon Wallace. That is a side-by-side battle here for that 11th position. And behind, it's starting to heat up as well. Holt catching up into the picture. We've got some hot comms right now. Jeremiah Holt, Justin Harris find themselves with black flags. I think that'll likely be from the incident points as well, so we'll have a quick drive through, but it's going to bring them out of the top 15 to the back of the field.
Absolutely, and really I feel like the only place that's safe from incident points is where Matthew Montgomery is right now, and that is out in the lead. And even then, he's got a mirror full of Alex Pollock. He's going to go to the inside now and try and make a pass.
Now, one thing, kind of a story to keep an eye on here coming into this race, Zechariah Cartledge, the 61, kind of a probationary race for him tonight. Got a driver warning for a little bit being too little, goodness gracious.
A little too aggressive. There you go.
At Kentucky. So he's got to be careful with the moves that he makes here if he wants to find himself up on the podium tonight. But still, sitting just kind of in the catbird seat in that 8th position. You've still got time left in this race to find your way up there. You just have to do it carefully as well.
Absolutely. He might need a new set of tires, so he is really slipping and sliding more than a lot of the guys he's racing around. But to this point in the race, he hasn't really done anything that would warrant a look at that probation. He's had quite a clean race to this point. As up here at the front of the field, Hinson and Cochran are still trying to sort out who's going to run third.
Got first and second figured out for the moment. Matthew Montgomery with a half-second lead over Alex Pollock. Pollock out 7/10 of a second over Gavin Hinson and Jacob Cochran. Cochran still trying to find some speed on that bottom line, but you can defend pretty well from, that half lane up off the bottom, even a little bit further up the track, where you can find that speed off the corner, just like the 23 of Rayshawn Wingfield here. He finds speed following in Hinson's footsteps, tire tracks rather, using that high line to their advantage to try to work around the 8. Cochran just doing a great job of sticking it right on the door. That is a great diamond of turn 1 and 2, but still finding the speed on the outside, goes to 60.
Yeah, Hinson's able to clear off of turn number 2. Cochran now trying to clear Wingfield. Looks like he will do it as Toby Ritters looks on. Ritter's kind of stuck in 6th spot. Expected him to kind of get through traffic a little bit better. Espy's going to wear out that back bumper soon enough, I would imagine. Is Cochran going to try again to go past Hinson for third?
Yeah, Ritters finds himself in a boat with no paddle at the moment, really. It's, that tire advantage that he had over the leaders, it's essentially gone now. He has 42 laps on this stint versus the leaders at 58. Yes, there is still a little bit of an advantage, but at this point, the tire fall off is starting to plateau. So you're not going to get much slower here. Is talking to a couple of the drivers, seemed like about that 40 lap window was right when the lap time started to happen.
Absolutely, but we're still not convinced the leaders can make it to the end of this race on fuel. I'm talking about Montgomery and Pollock. I was told pre-race 68 to 73 is how far they could go. They're already on 60, and there's still 30 laps left. So I don't know if they can make it to the end on fuel. It's going to be a tough one.
We have had a few caution laps here, so depending on the strategy of saving, if they were shutting down the engine while they were rolling around the track, Now that could help him extend it a little bit, but 30 laps is a whole lot further than the 18, or rather 13, that they potentially have left.
Yeah, right about that. So I'm curious to see if those guys end up maybe saving fuel, maybe caution comes out and saves them, or if they can make it at all. I really don't know. Maybe they stretch it to the end and just find a way. But right now, we could be looking at the battle for the win right here, which is Hinson versus Cochran versus Wingfield.
Very well could be. It's shaping up, looking like it. Because Hinson's still with a 10-lap disadvantage over Jacob Cochran, but doing a fantastic job of keeping it right here in this battle. And then you've got Wingfield, who's, you know, we've seen him be aggressive more than a couple times tonight, sending some situations 3 wide that might not have needed to be. It nearly does here, staying so close to that left rear bumper of the 60. That was just about another car sent around here. We'll see just how aggressive that 23 stays as the battle behind between 88, Toby Ritters, and the 3 of Aaron Espy gets a little bit hotter. Espy finds some speed on the outside line. He's going to try to make it work here. Ritters gets the advantage, but doesn't quite slide up as soon as I thought he would. Never really got up to the wall across the front stretch.
Absolutely, here off the corner, so he'll have that advantage as we see Cartledge sliding behind him. They are still trying to figure out who's going to run third. At this point in the race, Wingfield is pushing really hard, trying to find a way around him. There's nowhere to go. I don't know, he might have to use that chrome horn here in just a second if he's going to find a way around these two.
I think it's pretty well inevitable. He's got to be getting impatient back here. He sees that gap open up on the corner entries where we've seen him send it to the middle a couple times already. You know, it seems like he's gearing up, waiting for that gap to just be a little bit bigger.
Right. I would agree with you there. Also, it's a lot more difficult to bump and run the guy on the bottom when there's someone to his outside, because there's a good chance you take them both out. Oh, as Cochran slips up, that's going to put Wingfield to the outside. That is exactly the moment he needed. He might clear here off of turn 2. He will.
He will definitely clear before turn 3 as the 8 of Cochran gets a little bit loose off of turn 2 once again, so it's slowed him down just enough. I wonder if Toby Ritters will be able to catch back up. As we saw those two battling on the front row lap after lap. Now it's a different story as Cochran gets all over the back bumper of Wingfield, nearly making contact down in turns 1 and 2. Wingfield sends it to the inside. The 60 of Hinson under fire from now another driver. Let's see how well he can battle side by side with Wingfield instead of Cochran.
First time he's been on the top, though, if I'm not mistaken. I believe the 8 was on the top when the 60 was on the bottom. Gets a rocket launch off of that corner. But the preferred line is the bottom here. Can the 23 slide by as they're catching Pollock while they're racing side by side. So
Pollock might be having issues.
And the leader hasn't gotten away either. They might now just be fuel saving. Saving their stuff.
They are starting to catch up with some of the lap traffic just ahead, so they may. I like that call. Back it down a little bit. And maybe try to get everybody in this battle as it looks like they're 3 wide there, just ahead of Matthew Montgomery.
We just saw Stephen Gill in the grass as well. That is not what you want from the lap traffic in front of you. Here goes Wingfield down to the bottom. Is he able to make that move stick? It looks like it. Will he have momentum off the corner? No. Hinson's still there.
Gill was coming off of pit road there, so he is back on. I think after serving a drive-through penalty, it does look like he did not make a stop in the box. So, but here we go, getting closer to that lap traffic. They're to the back bumper of Alex Pollock now. It's a battle for second place with Matthew Montgomery just ahead. Pollock, Hinson, and Wingfield all going after it here. Man, this is a traffic jam just ahead. We've got 4 cars that are kind of battling side by side. Matthew Montgomery needs to quickly find a way around.
That is not what you want to see.
3 wide off the corner. That is essentially a rolling roadblock to Matthew Montgomery right now.
And we're trying our best Tokyo Drift impression out here as well. We got cars sliding all over the place. Same thing for a second. Hinson still holding up. Wingfield, Pollock has gotten passed by both of them. Here comes Cochran as well. as Montgomery is now in the Hornet's nest, trying to get around the lap traffic. Oh, we're wrecking! Pollock's in the fence! Oh, big crash. Espy's in it. Wallace is in it. And this is going to be a shootout with under 10 to go.
Top of the track.
Oh, man. That's tough.
Whew. I don't think I have ever seen the left rear wheel get so sideways inside that wheel well like we'll see on the 92 here after this contact. That was a big hit.
Yeah, just in case if he thought he was clear and he wasn't. And then, boom, Espy, Cartledge. We got Brandon Wallace involved. Yeah, that's tough.
Wallace doing the most damage there to that left rear. As you can see, it is towed out.
Absolutely.
Horribly.
Let's get one more look at it here. Yeah, this is absolutely short track racing. 92 thought he was clear. He's clear for the moment, clear for the moment, clear for the moment. Goes up, not clear. Into the wall he goes. Ritter's got away from that. And then Sandwich closed, and big hit there for the 90.
Well,
he's still trying to drive it.
Completely. Wow.
You might have a little bit of damage there, Alex. I don't think that left rear is supposed to look like that, buddy. I'm sorry to say.
I think Pollock recognizes just how few laps. Oh, man. Cannot control it at all and hits the track exit.
Yeah, he got a black flag, so that's got to be the incident point black flag he just received.
He was going to try to salvage it and stay ahead of some of these lap cars here. He's got, one lap down himself, but Stephen Gill, Jared Green, Brandon Vees, they were all, potentially positions he could have kept.
Right.
But now if he has to bring it down and put it in the garage, those drivers will be able to.
He doesn't have a fast repair still.
Oh, there we go.
So that could get him out ahead of these guys. He's on pit road right now. Should be able to get out in front of Gill, who is 3 down. That's Alex Pollock we're talking about. There's the driver. Ooh, that thing is destroyed after he hit the outside wall with the on the backstretch there. Ripped off the right front as well. Really making sure to get his money's worth out of this fast repair.
I think he had to tow it. I think
he
after
did.
that hit with the track exit wall, it broke the car so much that he couldn't get it back around.
I think you're right.
Because he's already been in the box for 40 seconds. Fast repair, it's instant. That's why it's called a fast repair. So he's obviously going to struggle here trying to get back out onto the track and hold on to some spots, but coming back down the back stretch. Pace car lights are off. Matthew Montgomery has managed to hold on to the lead here, but now he's got a driver with a little bit fresher tires to his outside. Gavin Henson in that 60 machine. Rayshawn Winkfield on the bottom behind. Zechariah Cartledge on the outside. Montgomery away again. He knows how to control that car in these restarts with the older tires. But will it be enough as we are going to be 8 laps to go?
And if we stay green, the drivers in second are going to have to sort it out. Someone's going to have to get that spot and chase down the leader, else he's going to drive away. And it'll be another Matthew Montgomery show here in the National Sim Racing League Association, but they're still side by side for second.
This is exactly what he wants to see.
Oh, they're wrecking. Mitch is around.
There's a big one there in turn 1. Not big at all. It's just the 83 on the bottom. I thought that was going to collect about 10 cars there.
2 more drivers with a black flag. Justin Harris got one.
Pollock picks up another one.
And they're 3 wide behind him. That's not going to work. Now Ritter's gotten to the back of Richards. Light contact. Turns him around. Got him in a spot of the corner where that car is unloaded, and of course round goes the 83 machine. Familiar look, unfamiliar number. The Ben Richards car.
Morgan, do you think this hurts or helps Matthew Montgomery? We're going to come around here. We're going to be very much into a natural green-white checkered territory. I'm with you. This helps, puts him a little bit closer, a lot less laps to defend. And at this point, it's all or nothing.
Right.
5 laps to go here under caution. Even if you do think that there's a chance of a green-white checkered and you think that you're low on fuel, I think at this point you have to send it for this last couple laps, hope for the best.
Yeah, and I think why it's good for the 9 is he's been the one able to control the restarts, especially if he's jumping from the bottom. If he's launching from the bottom, he's able to get ahead of everyone, and if you're up by 2 car lengths into turn 1, no one's going to get to your inside. It's just not possible unless they full throttle into your door in the grass, which would be questionable to say the least. So he has the advantage as long as he's able to time these restarts properly.
I think this is going to be a natural green-white checkered here. As this time around, we'll get doubled back up. That'll put us at 3 to go, taking the green flag with just 2 to go. So I think the 9 can hold off here. He's got to be nerves of steel right now. You cannot let anything get to you. So we are going to see the field double back up. Morgan, is there anything here in this equation that you think somebody else might come out with the win tonight?
I mean, if he gets a bad restart for whatever reason, I don't see how he could. Maybe Hinson's able to time it properly and get to his outside for turn 1. Maybe he just spins the tires and Winkfield's able to make an aggressive move into turn 1 as well. I don't know. It would be difficult from this situation, seeing the restarts the 9's got, to see someone else in victory lane at this moment.
Well, I tell you what, Morgan, we're going to find out. Pace car comes down. Green flag is out. Montgomery away one more time. Put 2 to go on the board. Big dive to the inside for Wingfield. He's going to push that 60 of Henson way up the track, taking away the second spot for the time being, but expect Gavin Henson to try to make a move back. Caleb Jones in the 0-2, the 61 of Zechariah Cartledge in the top 5 as well. Anybody can make a move at this point. White flag in the air, the 9 in control. Will Wingfield have enough? Coming down through turns 1 and 2. Wingfield takes a look to the outside. The 9's going to defend on the bottom. The 23 has to get the perfect drive off, but he's going to go for the crossover to the inside. It's nothing on Matthew Montgomery, taking home the win here at North Wilkesboro.
Incredible finish. 2 wide. Half a tenth was the margin of victory. Wingfield gave it all he had. Could not quite get there.
What a drive from the 23, though. We saw him mixed up quite a bit. Both of our drivers here in the top 2 up well over 10 positions. Matthew Montgomery, remember, he started this one in 16th, up 15 to take the number 1 spot. Rayshawn Wingfield started in 14th, up 12 for number 2.
That first multi-time winner in this series history is Matthew Montgomery. Won at Charlotte and obviously winning here in North Wilkesboro.
A little bit of help there, trying to make this burnout count. Maybe fuel cell on fumes at this moment. Matthew Montgomery with a well-deserved win, 73 laps led. A big burnout here to celebrate it. Morgan, what do you say we take it to a quick commercial break? Get set up for the post-race show and interviews with our top 3.
I think you're right about that, Logan. You've been watching the National Sim Racing League Association here from North Wilkesboro. The Downtown Auto Sales 100. Be back right after this.
To Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the conclusion of what was a wild race in North Wilkesboro. Here is how it went down. Before we get to the grid, let's have a look at the race recap. 11 cautions with 5 lead changes here over 130 laps. Now back to Logan for how this race ended.
Well, we saw it live, but we'll say it again. Matthew Montgomery in the number 9 takes away the win with over half the race led here. 73 laps under control for Matthew Montgomery. Rayshawn Wingfield with the drive of a lifetime, up 12 positions. Also did have to bring it down pit road for a black flag penalty there with 20 incident points. So big drive coming from the 23 to find the podium tonight. Gavin Henson takes the bottom step here for the 60 machine. He had a fantastic night up at the front of the field as well. Zechariah Cartledge had to work his way up to a top 5, but comes away with P4 for the 61 team. Caleb Jones on the 02, quiet night, but finds himself up 15 to match our race winner, taking home a top 5. Daniel Sila in the 01 takes home 6th. The 98 of Casey Bristow in 7th. The 8 of Jacob Cochran, who we saw up at the front battling quite a bit, finds himself back in the 8th position. Mark Cofield in the 97 in 9th. Aaron Espy in the 3 takes home a top 10.
Finishing 11th tonight, the points leader, Dustin Lewis, come home in the 11th spot, up 8 from where he started. Brandon Wallace got used up like a pinball today. He finishes in 12th after multiple incidents for that 90 machine. Sean Robe in the 20 will finish in 13th. Christopher Hodges rebounds up to 14th after being caught up in a couple accidents on the lead lap. Toby Ritters, who led most of the first half of this race, he is going to finish 15th, a disappointing effort for the pole sitter. Benjamin Richards finishes the last driver on the lead lap in 16th. Harris, Bass, Bourne, and Gill, the first 4 multiple lap or a lap or more down in 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Jared Green takes the 15 to a 21st finishing position, 5 laps down, with Brandon V's 8 laps down behind in the 65, taking home 22nd. Alex Pollock in the 92, bad luck falls his way late in the race, 11 laps down and takes home 23rd. The 45 of Jordan Bridges, we saw him get wrapped up a time or two in some incidences tonight, 15 laps down in 24th position. Gregory Vadnais is the 14, another driver, just unfortunate night for him. 24 laps down, very heavily damaged race car, takes home 25th. The 73 there of Jeremiah Holt takes home the 26th position, with Sam Lavery in the 91, taking home 27th. Last but not least, in 28th, it's Peyton Bass, an early exit for the 48 machine, taking home the last spot here of our active racers tonight. Everybody else behind there did not quite make the cut, Morgan.
Of course.
That qualifying effort was close, though.
Yeah, of course. Race control was race control tonight, but Satori did not make the race. Neither did Gills, Volanti, Bridges, or Privat. They have 2 race controls tonight. The Moyer brothers, appreciate them for what they helped us go through here this evening. But that is a look at the results. Now let's get to some interviews. How's that sound, Logan?
Sounds like a plan to me. Let's start out with our race winner, Matthew Montgomery, see what he has to say about this finish here tonight. We will catch up with him. And there we go. Matthew Montgomery, the number 9. You've got Logan and Morgan up here in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy driver.
I sure do.
And driver, you are 88 laps on this stint, and I think even older on the tires. Tell me about how that car was handling out there. We saw some hot temperatures on the track, cresting over 115 degrees on the surface, but you made it look pretty easy out there, managed those tires pretty well.
Yeah, I was really close on fuel. I got a weird penalty. There's something going on with race control, and so we couldn't hear him. So I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my spot if I had a job at the back after that first caution, and I had to go on pit road to avoid it. So I wound up in the back. And the tires I finished the race on were the tires I started the race with. And so there was not a whole lot left in them. I was wanting it to stay green because I felt like I had a really good long run pace and just as far as taking care of it and being real smooth with it. As far as fuel goes, I was like 2-ish laps to the good. It was going to be really close, but that last couple cautions made it to where I was really good on fuel. And on that last couple of restarts, I feel like I had really good jumps until the last one, the 23, kept me really honest. I had to play more defense than offense there, especially going into 3 and 4. Really shallow entry and scrubbed a lot of speed, but he played it really clean with me, so I appreciate him for that, and I'll be sure to return the favor on the other end next time.
Well, you pretty well hit the next question I had for you about those restarts. And, you say you wish it would have gone green. Morgan and I were kind of talking back and forth. We felt like that last caution might have helped you there. What were
Absolutely not. Like I said,
I mean, it looked like it could have been sketchy. And like you said, Rayshon Winkfield got one heck of a jump there. But coming out of turn 4, went for the crossover to the inside across the start-finish line. You got him by just 0.069 of a second, so not even a tenth.
nice.
How's that? How did that feel in the car? Did you even notice he was that close?
I did notice he was that close, but I knew I had enough of a run to beat him to the line. Like I said, that entire, and I shouldn't have been as conservative as I was. I was playing a lot of defense going into that corner. I knew he had fresher stuff, and I knew he was going to be aggressive because, I mean, who isn't trying to go for that? But just knowing how these cars handle and knowing how this track is, he did a really good job of crossing me over. And, if I'm any less, eager to the throttle, then he gets me. So it was really close. But it wasn't that I wanted to race that way. It's just the way the cautions lied that kind of forced me into that strategy of just, getting fuel and sitting in the back and then waiting until all the leaders pit, which once that happened, I knew clean air was king. Same thing with Charlotte. And just wanting to hold on to that the best I could. So, yeah, it's one of those things where, because I felt like I was getting through the lap traffic pretty decently. They were racing each other a little harder than I wanted, but I felt like I was doing a decent job of getting through there. And then if I would have got through it, then everybody behind me would have had to get through it too, and I would have had a little bit of a buffer there. So I was really hoping, that last really long green flag run stayed green because I had the fuel to make it, even though it was close. And then I felt like I had enough of a gap to really just manage my runs and take care of my stuff.
Well, you took care of a race win here at North Wilkesboro. Matthew Montgomery, congratulations, P1. You're no stranger to it, but who do you have to say thanks to?
So all of Team Apollo. So that's Jordan Bridges, Sam Bridges, and Jamil Gills. I know Sam and Jamil, they were a lot faster than what their qualifying lap showed today. They put a lot of work in, and so expect them to be out there next week. And like I said, Jordan just ran into some bad luck tonight, but like I said, I just really love running with those guys. They're my boys. Outside of that, West Texas Pepper Traders. So peppertraders.com. Like I said, you can pick them up at your local HEB or go to that peppertraders.com website. They've got all kinds of good stuff on there, especially the bread and butter jalapenos. Hence the pepper name. Be sure to hit them up. And then I-45 Inc., at Big Johnny. I forget the numbers. It's on the side of my car if you want to look at it. But that's his Instagram. He's got a tattoo shop down in Houston. Does a lot of really, really good work. And he's he's a lot of really cool work, but he's a cooler guy. So go check him out if you're in the Houston area when you want to go get tatted up. And then shout out to my wife, Morgan. We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary this week, so that's really exciting. Here's to many, many more. And yeah, like I said, it was a lot of fun. Also, shout out to JCR. So that's JOL, John, Dylan, and Clashin. So a lot of fun running with those guys as well.
Well, you've got the list down pretty well, and I'm sure we'll hear it a couple more times this season. Again, congratulations, Matthew. Get to celebrating with your team, buddy. We'll see you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's going to move us right along here. Morgan Cook, I think you're getting down there to catch up with our second place finisher, Rayshon Winkfield.
Let's have a chat with the 23. Rayshon, Morgan, and Santa up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it was a eventful race for the 23 machine. Started in 14th, had a drive-through, I'm assuming for incident points, and then got back up into second spot and lost by about the length of the fender Walk me through it from your point of view. What was this race like for you?
Hiring. I don't know, just before, I mean, that drive-through kind of saved me. If we really think about it. Before I got the drive-through, I mean, I was just battling mid-pack, couldn't go nowhere, kept on getting in trouble, I kept on getting incidents. And then after I had to do that, they wrecked. I was able to stay in front of the leaders, and then I had enough fuel to make it. So, I mean, I stayed out, got track position. I had a 20X, and the penalty is a 21X for another pass through. So I had to keep the car clean, and it's like insanely surprised. I'm so surprised I didn't get another one. And just, it was super fun race, like that whole green flag run we had there, racing with Jacob and Gavin. That was probably the most fun I've had on a short track in a long time. It was just not really beating and banging. It was just hard racing. It was pretty fun. And then, yeah, I mean, track position is key.
It definitely looked like it tonight. Not a ton of passing out there at the front of the field. So you mentioned fuel, and I knew you guys were tight on fuel. When did you realize that, hey, I have a shot at making it to the end of the race here on this fuel tank?
I knew that if I would have pitted with around like, or at around like lap 55-ish, 60-ish, or somewhere around there, that I would have been able to make it on fuel just because of the amount of cautions we had. I would have been able to save it up front at least, because I knew even if we had cautions and they would have ran it dry, or the people who didn't pit or early pit would have ran it dry, they still would have had to pit, and I would have still got track position. And it was really just a situation to where if I pit and go even farther back in the pack, I really have nothing to lose because I'm already back there. But if it all works out, I finished where I finished, and it worked out.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on second spot. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out here for a valiant
Um,
effort and come up just a little bit short?
Thank you to Andy and everyone who puts on these races. Thank you to you guys for putting on these broadcasts as always. Shout out to Jacob and Gavin. That was, like I said, that was awesome. That was pretty fun. Shout out to Matthew. That was fun there at the end. Shout out to Colin Bollinger. I don't know if he's watching or not. Daniel Plant Smith, Andrew Bollinger. And yeah, about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Congratulations on second. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for second position. Now on to the last step of the podium. That's going to be Gavin Hinson. Santa has caught up with driver who finished in third, Gavin Hinson.
Yeah, we've got Gavin Henson down here, bottom step of the podium, but it's still a great place to be. Tell me a little bit about your race, Gavin. We saw you battling up towards the front half of the field. You were in the top 5 pretty well the entire time. How important was track position here after that kind of alternate strategy call that you guys had?
Track position was a big deal here. It was hard to pass. So I just needed to be towards the front because they were doing a lot of wrecking in the back, and I didn't want to be around that. So when I got taken out by the 73, I wasn't happy about it. But I guess it actually worked out because I came down and pitted, took my fast repair, and ended up following Pollock to the front after a bunch of those guys pitted and just maintained that position.
Hey, you are the only driver in the top 5 that did have to use that fast repair. I did forget about that situation there with the 73, so I'm glad you recalled on that. And you're battling up here in the top 5. It was pretty wild there for a while. We saw you really trying to hold off that 08 or the 8 rather of Jacob Cochran, and then the 23 of Rayshawn Winkfield just filling up that rearview mirror, bouncing back and forth between you two. What more do you think that you needed out of this car tonight to keep yourself ahead of that 23 and maybe be challenging for that win instead of him?
Well, I believe if I could have got a better start on the last restart and could have been to the outside of the 9, I think I would have had a shot, because you can kind of pinch those guys low, and they're not able to really lift as quick as I would be, because I'm on the outside and it's a straighter shot out of the corner. And I mean, it was just hard to time the restarts, and I think I would have kept it in front of Winkfield if he didn't kind of run me up in turn 1 on the restart. But that's whatever. I mean, he didn't mean to do it, but I think I could have stayed in front of him. I stayed in front of him on the green flag run, him and Cochran. It was a lot of fun. I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I did my best Ryan Newman impression, and I believe I was the hardest car to pass tonight.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy to get around the 60, and I think that's exactly why you found yourself on the podium here tonight. So congratulations on P3. Gavin Henson, do you have any shout outs for your performance here?
Yeah, I'll shout out Alex Pollock on his team over here. Want to shout out Jacob Cochran and Rayshon Wingfield for a good battle there those last 40 laps. And shout out you guys for putting on a good broadcast. You guys do a great job as usual.
Well, we try our best up here. Enjoy being here on these Saturday nights. Again, congratulations, Gavin. Get to celebrating, buddy. We will see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that is
Well,
going to
Morgan?
do it for our post-race interviews. What are you going to say, Logan?
I was just going to say that was, quite the, not the interviews I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit more enthusiasm out of our top 3 tonight.
They're tired. They're worn out. This is a tough place to race at. 130 laps here. It's like being thrown in a washing machine and just trying to fight through it. And these drivers did. This top 3 really had to dig deep, and everyone in the top 7 tonight was able to gain positions. That kind of shows you that you have to really scrap and claw here to be effective, and a lot of these drivers were tonight.
That they were.
So we are now at the conclusion of the National Sim Racing League Association event here. Of course, we're watching the Downtown Auto Sales 100 here at North Wilkesboro. I want to give a big thanks to everyone in the admin team for the National Sim Racing League Association: Aaron Espy, Brett Rinn, David Moyer, Jacob Cochran, Stephen Gill, and of course, Andy Barry, along with the other race control, everyone else who makes this thing happen. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. And for everyone at VSPEED, of course, Logan Threlkeld on board here for hopefully most of the season. It's been a fun one. Santa is bringing us gifts on these broadcasts for sure, and everyone else at VSPEED that makes this thing go round. Bradley, Adam, Eddie, Lucas, and everyone else behind the scenes. Thank you for the opportunity to do this, and we'll see you guys next time here on VSPEED. Stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video so you don't miss a moment of this great racing action. We'll see y'all next time.